In this video, I'm going to go over how we've been able to help business owners save $54,000 in taxes each year. And we're able to do this even when they have a CPA or a tax professional that they're working with. So why will these next 15 minutes be worth your time? If you asked one of our clients, Chris, he was paying anywhere from $100,000 to $200,000 in taxes each year. And now he's saving well over $100,000. So for him, it was definitely worth it. Our other client, Paul, we were able to save him $59,000 in taxes the first year he was working with us. And the following year, he actually paid no income tax, and he was actually making more money as well. For our client, Shirley, we were able to save her $95,000 in taxes in 1 year, which allowed her to reinvest in her business growth, which is exactly what she wanted to do. So my name is Daniel Sleep, and I am a service-based business tax specialist. What I love to do is drastically and legally reduce taxes to put money back into my clients' pockets. A little bit about just my credentials and who I am. I'm a certified public accountant. I'm a certified tax coach, small business enthusiast. I just love reading about small business, and I'm a proud husband and father and amateur runner. Probably look pretty funny when I'm running, but I'm trying it out. So what is this tax saving secret? In reality, simply people that are using what is called proactive tax planning. You are intentionally structuring your business to be taxed or not taxed in a certain way. So this definitely goes against the traditional mindset that you just need to file your taxes in April. If you're working with some of these old school accountants, typically they are a tax mill. It's all they do. They collect the data and then they file your taxes. They don't give you any advice. You barely talk to them, and that's pretty much it. And the only goal with tax planning, on the other hand, is to find legal and ethical ways to take advantage of the tax code. And by the way, for the United States, 95% of the tax code is not intended to raise taxes. It is actually to stimulate the economy. And this is a powerful idea in itself. If you understand that the tax code is designed to stimulate the economy, then you start to see the tax code in a very different way. Instead of seeing it as a restriction, you're seeing it as a puzzle, as a maze to guide through and be intentional about how you're doing your business. And not only does the tax code share how you can reduce your taxes, but if you follow even just a few of the strategies I'm going to share with you, you will discover the secrets of amassing huge amounts of cash flow and wealth that may be most likely sitting under your nose. And if you aren't using the tax code correctly, then the chances are you're flushing tons of money down the drain. Or worse, you're giving optional donations to Uncle Sam. It's very kind of you to do, but it's not necessary. So in our small amount of time, I'm going to share with you the exact playbook we use for our service-based business clients. You might be thinking you already have a tax plan in place, or that your current CPA or tax professional does all this for you. I'm going to share how both of those are false and shed some light on the truth in this video. So let's get into it. Secret number one, 99% of CPAs and tax professionals are costing you more than they're making you. The big idea here is that when we file your tax return, those are things that have already been done in the past, right? And it's already been ended. You can't really go back and make additional write-offs. You can't put money into retirement contributions and invest in tax-saving vehicles. And you're kind of looking in a rearview mirror of your car the entire time you're driving. I don't know if anyone's tried that, but it's pretty scary. It's not the way to go. Which not only costs you money for preparing the returns, but massively costs you with strategies you could have implemented. With tax planning, it's kind of like having a map laid out from point A to point Z. All you have to do is press the gas and go. Not to mention, when you have your eyes on the road, you can navigate around potential roadblocks and keep going to your destination. I actually came across this when a client came to me during tax season with a huge tax bill. And he wanted to know what he could do to pay less in taxes, to which I had to tell him the bad news. There's nothing you can really do here, pal. 99% of strategies aren't available after the year closes. So how we approach tax planning is through 6 essential frameworks. We do the retirement planning, income shifting, analysis, optimal deductions, entity structuring, and relevant tax loopholes and credits. So this is important because not only is tax planning proactive instead of reactive, but for the first time it puts you in control of your tax bill instead of the IRS. Now you'll never ask the dreaded question, so what do I owe this year, Daniel? But instead, you get to ask, how much do I want to put in the IRS's piggy bank this year? If you're like a lot of my savvy clients, the answer is probably as little as possible. So you end up wasting a ton of money without a tax plan because the tax return is only working based on the past without paying attention to the future.
Found you guys, found Daniel, and man, you've been awesome in helping turn all that around and being proactive and putting plans in place to, get us where we need to be.
Now, I know you're probably thinking, well, Daniel, I'll just go to my accountant and I'll tell him I need a tax plan this year. Which brings us to our second secret. Secret number 2 is your CPA or tax professional doesn't specialize in proactive tax planning. If they did, you wouldn't be here. So let me explain. Although there are over 672,000 certified public accountants, there's only around 800 that have credentials to be a certified tax coach. And that's only 0.1%. The main thing to understand here is that when somebody is a licensed CPA or enrolled agent, it authorizes them to represent you before the IRS in tax matters. Doesn't make them an expert in tax preparation or even tax planning. Whereas having a certified tax coach in your back pocket gives you advanced tax saving strategies used by the top 1% of the wealthiest people. Think strategies used by, Warren Buffett or Bill Gates. For example, did you know that you can take advantage of different entity structures, tax rates, and fringe benefits by splitting up your current business into separate legal entities? This is called legal carve-outs. Now, there has to be business purpose behind it, but that is not difficult to justify. C corporations, for example, have a flat rate of 21%, and there are ways to get the profit out without the double taxation that everybody thinks you get from being a C corp. Plus, they come with fringe benefits to the owners that aren't available in other structures. For example, health plans or days off. So instead of putting your trust in someone whose job is basically to fill in boxes on a sheet and organize transactions on a bank statement, you can actually put your trust in someone whose job is to actively bring you strategies on a silver platter with one thing in mind: put more tax dollars back in your pocket. Now you can finally start getting an ROI from a tax planner instead of getting overcharged by a traditional accountant who just checks the boxes and file your tax returns.
The problem we were having before we found Daniel was finding a competent CPA, to be honest. We went through 3 of them and they just didn't get it. We looked around, we found Daniel, and we've been thrilled ever since. I mean,
from a tax planning standpoint, it's going to be way better. I'm not a big tax fan, so whatever we can do to, reduce that impact is good, which translates into I'm less worried about financials. So, my personal life gets a lot better because that doesn't spill over, right? And I can spend more time with the family and the kiddo and not have to have that in the back of my mind.
Secret number 3. How tax planning is like service-based businesses more than you think. So when I started tax planning, I would take on any and every client I could get because I thought if a tax strategy would work with one client, that it would obviously work for another, right? No, it's definitely wrong. Let me share something with you. Tax plans have to be customized to the business owner's lifestyle and business. I'm sure you've seen it all over the social media. Hire your kids, use the Augusta rule, buy a big car. That's just bad knee-jerk advice given by influencers who've never prepared a tax return in their life. What if your children are too young to work? Did you know that the youngest child employee to withstand IRS scrutiny in tax court was 7 years old? What if you don't follow the Augusta rule to the T? What if you can't substantiate business use of your vehicle? So the long story short is, are you 100% without a shadow of doubt that all the strategies you are using are compliant and not raising red flags from the IRS? What if the IRS audits your return? Tax planning is a year-round engagement. It's not a 30-second reel on social media. Our tax plans only contain strategies that will withstand IRS scrutiny. So you can, live like a king here. Now, I noticed there were certain strategies that worked exceptionally well with my service-based business owners. Kind of like how service-based businesses provide solutions to big problems to small or large businesses. In the next service-based business I brought on as a client, I was able to immediately implement 99% of the strategies I had already discovered for my previous clients, which allowed me to have a compound interest effect with my strategies. Because instead of spending my time starting from square one each time, I was able to streamline my delivery process since I already created the ultimate tax savings playbook for business owners. Now, if you remember earlier, I mentioned how there's only 800 certified tax coaches. Well, you're in luck because most of them take on any client they can get, starting from square one every time. Whereas you get to stand on the shoulders of giants with all the other service-based business owners that I've helped before you, which basically means you get direct access to the Insider's Playbook for reducing your taxes. Puts you on the fast track for tax saving success. Now, I know you've already booked your free session, and once you receive the information, you'll ultimately have 2 options. Option 1 is rely on your current tax professional, which I'm sure Bob is super nice and you've known him for a long time, and you will continue to willingly overpay Uncle Sam. And this also includes spinning your wheels trying to implement strategies yourself, or you get on the next TikTok tactic with Bob just for him to shoot it down. That's kind of like trying to walk your business through a minefield blindfolded, or slamming on the accelerator of your car while having the parking brake on. And choice number 2 is you get it right in the next 30 days by using a proven plan from someone who has successfully done it over and over with proven results in the service-based industry. And you can skip wasting your time and wasting your money, which is kind of like having a map showing you exactly where the treasure chest is, or getting all the answers on a test before you even have to take it, and going from 0 to 100 very fast, so you can finally focus on what matters, growing your business. What this system is going to do is take the guesswork out of freeing up cash flow and profits. It really does just come down to as simple as using a system that other business owners are using. Now, as a business tax specialist who has cracked the code for recapturing lost tax dollars, what I do is pinpoint where and how much business is leaking profits and uncover what's stopping you from putting those dollars back in your pocket. So whether it's a misclassification of your entity structure, a tax efficiency optimization, charitable donations, which is one of Warren Buffett's favorite strategies, advanced tax saving vehicles, the list goes on. After that, we quantify how much you can save with our system in your own business. There's absolutely no obligation on this call, but we found the people who hop on these calls typically value their time and are looking for an expert to do the heavy lifting for them. The same reason why someone hires a consultant to guide them to better outcomes versus trying to do it themselves, because knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. And here's the thing, if we think your business would be a good fit for our services, we'll invite you to become a client. I will say this though, we are extremely picky with who becomes a client because we have a satisfaction guarantee. Basically means if we're a good fit, we'll invite you to become a client and we'll guarantee that we will save you at least 3 times your investment in our service, or we'll refund the difference. Why can I offer such a bold guarantee? Because if we're offering you an invitation to become a client, we know for a fact we can help you, because we've done it for other business owners that were in the same places that you were. And if for whatever reason you hop on the call, we turn over every stone and we can't find at least $10,000 in savings, then we'll tell you and we won't waste your time. For that guarantee, show up to your call at the time you scheduled and let us run our preliminary analysis. And either way, it's a win for you, because either way, you find tens of thousands of dollars in savings that have been leaking out of your business, or you have peace of mind knowing you are in a good spot. So to recap, who is this for? This is for a business owner who feels they've outgrown their accountant and as a result feel like there's opportunities being left behind. You want a proven way to reduce your taxes. You want to take the guesswork out of tax planning. You don't have enough time to do the research and implementation yourself. You're ready to free up cash flow in your business and take things to the next level. And you're willing to invest in an expert to speed up the process. This is not for you if you're just starting out, wanting to learn how to do your stuff yourself, you're comfortable overpaying taxes, you're not willing to invest in yourself or your future or your legacy.
Our first year, I can say that our first year that I know of, Daniel saved us over $55,000 in taxes. I live by the saying, the best are free because they save or make you more than they cost. And Daniel is saving us a lot of money and he's making us more money.
Over these past couple years working with Daniel and his team, I have had such peace of mind knowing that the tax and accounting side of my business is being handled by the experts. That is absolutely not my realm of knowledge. So it's really nice to know that the experts are handling that part of my business so I can focus on the parts that I really want to focus on.
We have had a very positive experience using Daniel and his team this year for our tax planning needs. He always makes us feel that the success of our company is important to him, and he found us many ways to save on our taxes. We have been really pleased with his communication, and every interaction with him and his team has been positive. We would definitely recommend using Daniel and his company for any tax planning support.
I liked how comprehensive you were looking to be, right? And how integrated you could be, even from like a day-to-day standpoint. And so things like Client Hub, right, to communicate. I love that everything is kind of tracked and is right there. And I have 50 things to do for you right now, but I know that because I can see it all, as opposed to emails back and forth that I will just inevitably archive and never look at again. So no, I think that holistic approach is awesome.
Let me ask you, if all this analysis did was help you uncover where profits are leaking out of your business so you can plug those leaks, reinvest back into your business, or put more of those profits back in your pocket, showing up to your call be worth it? So make sure your call date and time is on your calendar. Just check your email you use to book the call and hit accept on the invite. Remember, there's no risk. This call is absolutely free, but the only way for you to know if this is right for you is to show up at your scheduled time. Thanks for taking the time to check this video out, and I can't wait to learn more about your business and the unique tax situation on our call.